Is it true that Willy Chavarría's huarache design is actually from Michoacán? Yes, the woven leather huarache style is actually rooted in Sahuayo and Jiquilpan, Michoacán, where my mother and my father's parents are from, who I called to help me make this video. To understand where these huaraches came from, we have to go back to the Purépecha, an indigenous people from Michoacán who famously resisted Aztec conquest. The word huarache itself comes from the Purépecha huarachi, meaning sandal. Even before the Spanish arrived, the Purépecha crafted sandals from plant fibers. During the colonial era, the Spanish introduced cattle, and the Purépecha artisans began to use leather. Over time, the leather-woven huarache we know today was born. Today, Sahuayo alone is home to over 500 huarache workshops and a whole factory producing millions of sandals each year. So how did these huaraches get to the U.S.? Fast forward to the 20th century, thousands of Michoacanos came to the U.S. through the bracero program. Michoacán contributed more braceros than most other Mexican states. These Michoacano braceros worked across the country, brought their culture with them and their huaraches. And these sandals became a symbol of Mexican working class identity in the U.S. But in the 1960s and 70s, huaraches were embraced by the Chicano movement. These shoes became part of the civil rights protest. They were worn during marches, on college campuses, and cultural events as statements of identity, similar to the zoot suit. Now, designers like Willy Chavarría are reviving the huarache aesthetic in high fashion. These are Michoacano shoes born from the Purépecha, colonial adaptation, and the lived experience of migration during the bracero program and beyond. I'm sure Willy didn't mean any disrespect. A lot of his work references the braceros he grew up with in Huron and in the Central Valley. I love Willy for putting braceros and Chicanos at the forefront of fashion. I think sometimes people in Mexico don't realize that Mexican Americans and Chicanos have a different relationship with the huarache. For us, it's not just traditional. It represents protest and pride in a country that often does not accept us. As Chicanos and Mexican Americans, we often feel like we're not fully from here and we're not fully from there. These huaraches became part of the Chicano movement, a history and struggle that Mexicans in Mexico did not experience in the same way. But it's important to understand that Michoacanos were the originators of these huaraches. Two of my great-grandfathers and both of my grandfathers were Michoacanos from Jiquilpan and Sahuayo who came to the U.S. during the bracero program as braceros. We owe it to them and to all of the artisans still hand-making huaraches today to tell the full story. These shoes deserve to be at the high fashion runways, made by Michoacanos, credited to Michoacanos. Also important to understand what these huaraches mean to braceros and the Chicano movement in the U.S. They're not just sandals, they're symbols of protest, survival, and cultural pride. So did you know that these huaraches were actually from Sahuayo, Michoacán? And what do you think about all this?